Hello, everybody. I'm Alex. The first song tonight is a song that I wrote called That's Okay. It's a good sing along. That's okay. Those words happen a bunch of times, so we can't hear each other, but feel free to sing along with me. Sometimes I go so slow, I feel I'm stuck. Sometimes I fall so low, I feel I'm stopped, and that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. Sometimes I'm rising fast, I feel I'm flying. Sometimes I'm right on task, it's all aligning, and that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. And that's okay. 'Cause today is what it needs to be. Another day is coming soon, and I know that there is room. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay to be afraid. So when I feel so low and I am stuck, I just need to know I am who I am. These thoughts are not, and that's okay. 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 Let's hum.
Ah, so great. Thank you so much, Alex. Well, yeah, that we were all playing and singing along over here. Love that song, and I love that it's sort of become just a standard repertoire song for us that we could all just sort of join in on our own over here. So, our next song for Gathering Music. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark David. I'm the music director of Sanctuary, here with Reverend Joe and Tayward to do some music for you tonight. We're gonna sing a song by the Indigo Girls, kind of an oldie but a goodie. And this is a song I've been doing since before I did church music. So
Life before church
there,
music.
there was life before there was church music. There was. So the Indigo Girls also existed a long time ago. Let's see. And this is a song called "Hammer and a Nail." And the reason I picked this song is because Rosemary is going to be talking a little bit about using your hands to make things and sort of, a catharsis that can come from really doing real work. And this song, Hammer and a Nail, has some great lines. I gotta get out of bed and get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands. Not just my head, I'll think myself into jail. Now I know a refuge never grows from a chin in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you want a rose. And then sort of extending that kind of like personal work into the community and trying to help the world, but really starting from this place of just using our bodies for good. So I hope you'll sing along with us. 1, 2, 3. Clearing webs from a hovel, a blistered hand on the handle of a shovel. I've been digging too deep, I always do. I see my face on the surface, I look a lot like Narcissus, a dark abyss of an emptiness standing on the edge of a drowning blue. I look behind my ears for the green, and even my sweat smells clean. Glare off the white hurts my eyes. Gotta get out of bed and get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands, not just my head. I'll think myself into jail. Now I know a refuge never grows from a chin in a hand in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you wanna roll. Intentions, sit around for 50 years and then collect a pension. Started seeing the road to hell and just where it starts. But my life is more than a vision. The sweetest part is acting after making a decision. Started seeing the whole as the sum of its parts. Behind my ears for the green, and even my sweat smells clean. Glare off the white hurts my eyes. Gotta get out of bed and get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands, not just my head. I'll think myself into jail. Now I know a refuge never grows from a chin in a hand in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you wanna rose. My life is part of the global life. I find myself becoming more immobile when I think a little girl in the world can't do anything. A distant nation, my community. A street person, my responsibility. If I have a care in the world, I have a gift to bring. So I look behind my ears for the green. Even my sweat smells clean. Glare off the white hurts my eyes. I gotta get out of bed and get a hammer and a nail, learn how to use my hands, not just my head. I'll think myself into jail. Now I know a refuge never grows from a chin in a hand in a thoughtful pose. Gotta tend the earth if you wanna roll. Thanks, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Now's the time we take our chalices. So if you have a candle or a chalice nearby, I invite you to bring that closer to you, or take a moment to take a deep breath and center yourself in this moment that we're sharing together. Our chalice lighting words are by Mary Oliver. Her poem, "How Would You Live Then?" What if 100 rose-breasted grosbeaks flew in circles around your head? What if the mockingbird came into the house with you and became your advisor? What if the bees filled your walls with honey and all you needed to do was ask them and they would fill the bowl? What if the brook slid downhill just past your bedroom window so you could listen to its slow prayers as you fell asleep? What if the stars began to shout their names or to run this way and that way above the clouds? What if you painted a picture of a tree and the leaves began to rustle and a bird cheerful sang from its painted branches? What if you suddenly saw that the silver of water was brighter than the silver of money? What if you finally saw that sunflowers, turning toward the sun all day and every day, who knows how they do it, were more precious, more meaningful than gold?
Thank you so much, Anna. Welcome all. My name again is Matt, and I'm the Director of Community Life here at Sanctuary Boston. It's so good to be together, gathered from near and far online for some music and some worship and a message. A couple logistics, we're recording this service, so if you'd rather not have your face on YouTube later, you can always turn off your camera, but if you're up for it, we'd love to see your smiling, singing faces. The lyrics and an order of service are being shared in the chat box, so you can follow along. That'll tell you who's who and what's what, and it includes all of the lyrics to all of our songs tonight, so you can sing along as much as you'd like. I'm so looking forward to our message by Rosemary Dodd, a community member, talking about what it means to find renewal in handmade things and to ground ourselves in the physical world with arts and crafts. Sanctuary is a community of vibrant worship and real connection. And that means that for us, how we are together, how we build community together is more important than any creed, perhaps more important than any sacred text for us. This is a community for praying atheists, a community for agnostic pagans, for mystical witches, and for you. Some of us here who were hurt by religion are finding that spiritual community can be more about loving your neighbor than tests of belief. And some of us who have been saved by religion know that it's more important to take care of each other than to convert each other. So we welcome you this evening, whoever you are, however you found us, wherever you're joining us from. It is good to be together, and it's good to have you with us, creating sanctuary for this evening at least. Let's continue to welcome each other into this sacred space with our words of welcome. And you can read along at home with Anna and Barbara.
Whether you go to church on Sunday morning,
Or light candles on Friday nights,
whether you've been hurt by religion,
saved by it,
or some of both,
whether you're brand new to spiritual community,
or a seasoned seeker,
whoever you are, whatever you are,
wherever you are on your journey, we welcome
you.
you.
We love the beautiful chaos of community joining together like that. Well, let's take a few minutes to continue to greet each other, to turn to your neighbor and greet them in the chat box if you can and if you'd like. So take a moment and you can say where you're joining us from in the chat box. And we also invite you to send a note to someone you haven't seen in a while saying it's good to see you, or maybe even send a note to someone who is not yet a friend saying that you're glad to have them here. we'll hear just a couple more minutes of music while we greet our neighbors. What a journey of greeting music. Thank you to our trio. Well, we invite your attention back. We invite you to take a moment to breathe deep again, to be present here together and join in our centering music for this evening.
Thank you, Matt. To be fair, Joe and I did see Hadestown last night, so we're kind of in the little mood of like singing the sad songs that need to be sung within everything else. You know, it's all part of the journey. So this next song is called "Dear Weaver of Our Lives Design," and when I happened upon this song for tonight, I was so thrilled. These words, because it's just the metaphor of sowing and creation and all these things that it works. It works at any time, but really on a day that we're talking about making, it feels so right. So I put a different melody with it, if you know the one that usually goes with it. But I think it's really beautiful. I hope you'll enjoy singing along. Tayward's going to play the melody through once, and then we'll all join in. 1, 2, 3. Dear weaver of our lives' design, whose patterns all obey, with skillful fingers gently guide the sturdy threads that will survive the tangle of our days. Take up the fabric of our lives with hands that gently hold, bind in the ragged edge that care would sunder and that pain would tear, and mend traveling souls. Let eyes that in the plainest cloth a hidden beauty see, discern in us our richest hues, show us the patterns we may use to set our spirits free. Show us the patterns we may use to set our spirits
That was so beautiful. Thank you. I didn't even remember I knew that song until you started playing it, and I just think it was perfect. So thank you so much. My name's Rosemary, and I want to tell you a story about making a bathrobe. In June, I started sewing this bathrobe. I really couldn't find one I liked enough to buy, and it seemed like a nice thing to have. And so I made a plan to make one myself. Due to my tendency to be ambitious and over-involved in any project, I added complexity to my bathrobe scheme immediately. I planned a contrast fabric to add to the pockets, collar, belt loops, and cuffs. And I even toyed with the idea of adding some antique French geometric ribbon to the bottom hem. I started on a hot summer day, avoiding the heat and hiding out in my apartment. After drafting the pattern by hand and cutting out all the fabric I would need, I was 8 hours into the process. You see, originally, I had planned to borrow a friend's sewing machine, meaning that after all this cutting and pinning, I would be able to zip along through the rest of the project. Machine sewing, to me at least, can be really frustrating to set up. But once you're at the machine, each seam takes minutes instead of hours, and each tiny stitch after tiny stitch is perfectly and evenly sewed by the machine. Instead, despite my promises to my roommates that I wouldn't do this, I fell right down a rabbit hole of hand sewing this bathrobe. Every stitch required me to look at exactly what I was doing. I was moving my tiny needle in and back around each stitch as the seam grew, sometimes stabbing myself with the sharp needle or the pins holding the fabric together as I hauled my work around the house during the day. A bathrobe has no small number of seams, and although the pattern pieces are relatively simple, hand sewing means that each one takes at least a few hours to put together, with the pieces of fabric held together eventually by tiny, durable, strong back stitches used throughout history to make garments wearable year after year. And these stitches hold the fabric together tightly, so the piece, the garment, doesn't lose its shape. It's a lot of work, and I was hooked on the process. You see, in 2020, after years of frustrating medical appointments and really unsustainable and unmanageable chronic pain, I had finally found support and resources, medical resources, which meant I could do something other than sit on my couch and rest after coming home from my day. I could take walks around the city, cook, even dance. In August 2020, driving to Boston to start grad school, I was coming back into my own body and figuring out how I wanted my body to be in the world. I packed the car full of the things that felt important: art, antique rugs, my wonderful roommate, all the winter clothes I owned, and we set off sans sewing machine. I felt so poised for efficiency, for making the most of my graduate program, for manifesting success and speed and focus. As many of us probably did at the time, I thought that COVID was a bump in the road. I had already overcome so much in my health. Surely, with enough determination and grit and ice cream, this would pass. I've always been someone who enjoys making things, creating, crocheting, sewing, collaging, all the processes of making an idea take physical form. And during the great hibernation of winter 2020 to spring 2021, I really did a lot of making. Between Zoom classes and paper writing and health anxiety and cautious grocery store trips and elections and being away from my family, I made time to create. I linked my crocheting with my ability to listen to lectures and wound my yarn into skeins during Zoom conversations with my friends. You see, making something quickly is incredibly satisfying. I've made blankets in a week while avoiding studying for the SAT. I've made sweaters in a month, and I've made mittens for my grandmother in the car on the way to our Christmas Eve celebration. It sometimes even feels like magic to take some yarn and a little bit of time and whip something up out of almost nothing. But last spring, after a year of Zoom graduate school and everything else, my brain was fried, fried and overloaded, and I felt hollowed out by disconnection from the world. I didn't have grace left for the world, much less for myself. By June 2021, my mind was ready for rest, which did not include any semblance of efficiency or speed. So I made a plan to rest instead of speed through the summer. Instead of summer coursework or research, I gardened with wild inefficiency and without much success at all. 2 tomatoes. And instead of finding a new sewing machine, I made an entire bathrobe by hand. Just as I had spent years making sure to take it easy on my body, I suddenly had to figure out how to make space to take care of my academically and professionally overwhelmed brain. So I sat back down on my couch in my living room and I sewed one seam at a time, slowly, slowly. As the garment came together, I renewed connections and practices which could guide me through my work. I took a week off from working on the bathrobe to spend time with my 92-year-old grandmother in Maine, listening to her stories and laughing about how we have the exact same sense of humor, swimming together in the frigid North Atlantic. I grew more comfortable with the practice of moving slowly, of letting things come together one step, one stitch at a time. I worked on the robe while on the phone with my dad for hours, him wandering around my hometown and me picturing all of our favorite places and making plans to come home for my uncle's funeral because yes, I did have the time. I sewed while watching YouTube videos about Victorian dressmaking, cooking, nothing at all, filling my mind with images and stories and people with lives so different from mine. I put aside the ambitious blanket projects I'd been speeding through and took a break from my yarn spreadsheets, of which I have many, and my intense research, and just let myself sew. I didn't update a blog about the robe as I went, and I didn't let myself hold an expectation of when it might be finished. I also didn't sew at night, letting the daylight support me in my work and going to bed early. When my wrists and my hands asked me to stop, I put the project aside for later. remembering how to listen to my body. 6 weeks later, a slow 6 weeks, I finished the bathrobe while watching reality TV with my roommate. Now I'm able to see all the imperfections in the bathrobe, which come from hand sewing. The points of weakness in the seams and the slight, but noticeable to me, crookedness of the pockets. But I'm working on seeing the lessons from this wildly inefficient exercise in self-compassion. Developing a practice of working by hand isn't just important as a way of creating, but it's important to me as a way to try and find grace and compassion for myself. Rest takes time. Renewal takes belief in a new way of being in the world, in community. And sewing a garment by hand makes me want to learn how to spin my own yarn, to start with wool from a real sheep and end with a sweater, and an understanding of the value of the clothes which keep us warm. I'll try to continue to pry my hobbies away from the world of efficiency and success and back into life-giving ways to believe in rest. I'm working to find joy in my own steadfastness, my own pace, and to know that compassion and grace are not finite resources, even for me to give myself.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. I very much relate to your message. I'm going to play a song that I wrote called Making Things. When I heard what Rosemary was going to talk about tonight, I said, I have a song for that. I tend to have a lot of big creative projects always going on at the same time. And the song is kind of about also just taking time to make little weird things with no reason. Not to make a big art exhibit, not to like make something practical, just like really weird things. I just wanted to quickly show you, for example, like this little guy with a hat. You know, he doesn't need to exist in the world, but he does, and sits on my bookshelf. Or, you know, a little like bowl of fruit that's just made out of paper, and they're like fruit people, and one of them's a durian. So, you know, sometimes you just need to make some weird little things. So that's what this song is about. It's called Making Things. I have a tiny desk. It is smaller than my hand. Can't write on it. It doesn't even stand. So I hung it up and I made some more. The reason for it all would come soon, I was sure. I have a bowl of fruit that I can't eat. They are more like people with fruity feet. Didn't know what to do with this happy thing, so I put it away. Maybe I'll give them wings. I've been making little things 'cause I like to. Yeah, I like to. I've been making pretty things 'cause it's nice to. Yeah, it's nice to. I don't need a reason to wholeheartedly believe in making things out of nothing. I don't need a reason to wholeheartedly believe in making things out of something, because I have a tiny gnome. She is made out of felt. I poked her little body till she looked like herself. We made her a house. I hope she liked it a lot. I think I threw out the house, but I promise it rocked. Found a bunch of leaves, so I took them home. Got a hot glue gun, put away my phone. Then I made a face with all the dead leaves, and I gave it eyes, so now she can see. I've been making little things 'cause I like to. Yeah, I making pretty things 'cause it's nice to. Yeah, it's nice to. I don't need a reason to wholeheartedly believe in making things out of nothing. I don't need a reason to wholeheartedly believe in making things out of something, because I wanna see your doodles, all the pieces of dried noodles that you've glued to paper, save for later, hid away in a box. I wanna see the things you made you think are weird and that you fear no one else will think is cool. 'Cause I've been making little things 'cause I like to. Yeah, I like to. I've been making pretty things 'cause it's nice to. Yeah, it's nice to. I've been making little things 'cause I like to. Yeah, I like to. I've been making pretty things 'cause it's nice to. Yeah, it's nice to. I don't need a reason to wholeheartedly believe in making things out of nothing. I don't need a reason to wholeheartedly believe in making things out of something, because I like to.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex. My heart feels so much better already. And that we can make these little things that make such a big difference. It's just amazing, right? Just the little things you showed me are making my heart feel better today. Thank you so much, Alex. So now is the time in our service when we gather the offering. And for those of you who haven't joined us before, one of the things we like to do is we split the offering plate. We split our donation with an organization that has similar values, that shares Sanctuary's values. And tonight we're splitting the plate with an organization called the Partnership for Inclusive Disaster Strategies. And what the partnership does is they focus on disability inclusive disaster relief before, during, and after environmental disasters. So the partnership staffs a hotline with resources for folks with disabilities so that they can be prepared and they can respond to natural disasters. They are also on the ground to support disabled folks. They were there in response to hurricanes in Puerto Rico, Florida, the Bahamas, been there for wildfires in California and Colorado. And those on the ground teams are all disabled-led teams. So the partnership, like Sanctuary, grew significantly in 2020. They currently describe themselves as building the plane as we fly it. So I hope you will join me in supporting an organization that shares the values of Sanctuary in terms of inclusion and also in terms of our perspective on community care, where we believe that people don't need to be saved or rescued. They need to be supported and provided with resources so that they can lead themselves. And donations can be made via PayPal or Venmo, which they're on the screen. And if you donate that way, please just put the word offering in the notes. Thank you so much. The offering will be gratefully received.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can change the world with my own 2 hands, make it a better place. With my own 2 hands, make it a kinder place. With my own 2 hands, with my own 2 hands. with my own 2 hands. I can make peace on earth with my own 2 hands. I can clean up the earth with my own 2 hands. I will reach out to you with my own 2 hands. With my own 2 hands. With my own 2 hands. I'm gonna make it a brighter place with my own 2 hands. Gonna make it a safer place with my own 2 hands. Gonna help the human race with my own 2 hands. With my own 2 hands. With my own 2 hands. Now I can hold you with my own 2 hands, and I can comfort you with my own 2 hands. But you got to use your own 2 hands. Use your own 2 hands. Use your own 2 hands. With our own 2 hands. With our own 2 hands.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Friends, we come to this community bringing so many things, bringing our gifts and our offerings and our stories and all of the joys and sorrows of this complicated, messy business of being human and being alive in this world. We invite you to share any sorrows you are carrying in the chat box, because sorrows shared are burdens lightened. Even in the most difficult times, we also come bringing joys, large and small. We invite you now to write any joys you're carrying in the chat box, because joys shared are joys magnified.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Spirit of life, known to us by many names, and sometimes by no name at all. We are so aware these days of all the different threads being woven together. We come holding the threads of loss, loved ones and family and friends and community members who have died, who are struggling, the ends of jobs, the concern and the fear. We know these threads are here. And we know too, there are threads of joy, folks we have connected and reconnected with, new jobs, new possibilities, hopeful medical news, and the glory of the autumn leaves in this season. May we know that this fabric is love, and we are wrapped in it. Love above us, love below us, love all around us. Amen, and blessed be.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. A sanctuary anew.
Friends, take some time this week to do something wildly inefficient. Take a slow walk around the block, noting the changes in each tree from last time. Chop a carrot with intention and your favorite kitchen knife. Call a friend for no reason, just to check in. If you can, remind yourself to make something, just because. Compassion and grace are not finite, and you deserve it.
Two, three, four. Heartbeats only happen one at a time, one at a time. You can't rush a moment, so don't even try, don't even try. There's a symphony you're missing. If you only listen, you'll find big magic in the mundane, the big picture in a small frame. Everything is sacred if you take time to notice. Big love happens in the small moments. Big love happens in the small moments. There's no use in chasing nickels and dimes, nickels and dimes. Riches all around you. Open your eyes, open your eyes. You can't buy the peace you're after, so don't even try. 'Cause you'll find big magic in the mundane, the big picture in a small frame. Everything is sacred when you take time to notice. Big love happens in the small moments. hand. You can't do it all, so just do what you can. Feel the rain on your skin, feel your hand in my hand. You can't do it all, so just do what you can. Feel the rain on your skin, feel my hand in your hand. You can't do it all, so just do what you can. Feel the rain on your skin, sun on your face. You can't do it all, so just do what you can. Feel the rain on your skin, on the ground. You can't do it all, so just do what you can. Feel the rain on your skin, feel your hand in my hand. You can't do it all, so just do what you can. Feel the rain on your skin, just look around, and you'll find big magic in the mundane. The big picture in a small frame. Everything is sacred when you take time to notice the big magic in the mundane. The big picture in a small frame. Everything is sacred when you take time to notice. Big love happens in the small moments. Big magic in the mundane. The big picture in a small frame. Everything is sacred when you take time to notice. Big love happens in the small moments. Big love happens in the small moments.
Oh my God. Thank you to our trio over there, Mark, David, and Tayward and Joe. What a total joy to hear your music. Thank you, Alex Pham and Emma Paul, for your music as well. And Rosemary, what a message, what an important reminder. As someone who is unhelpfully obsessed with efficiency, this is a reminder that I get too often from my loved ones that I might want to try unitasking every once in a while. So after worship tonight, I'm going to be getting out my knitting and setting to it. Our last ritual of the evening, friends, is the sacred ritual of invitations and announcements. So first of all, I want to invite you to worship next time. Our new schedule for the foreseeable future is every first Wednesday of the month we'll be worshiping online, as well as fifth Wednesdays too. There's one in December. And every third Wednesday of the month will be in-person and online hybrid. All of those in-person gatherings will be at First Church Boston in the Back Bay in Boston. And starting in November, we'll be indoors for that with masking and socially distanced, but singing together indoors, which I'm so looking forward to. Our COVID safety team, along with our board, has had a lot of really good conversations looking at research and what other congregations are doing. And so we're excited to be taking this next step to be able to sing together indoors safely and worship joyfully together. But if you're